Someone is reaching for comfort right now, not in an abstract way, in the way a body reaches, restlessly, specifically, returning to the same frequency no matter how many times they redirect, and every substitute is falling short. You may have felt it yourself, that low hum of anticipation that doesn't quite explain itself, a name surfacing without invitation, a dream that lingered past waking, a moment mid-conversation with someone else where your mind went somewhere it wasn't supposed to go. This is not imagination. This is Venus entering Taurus on April 15th. And what she touches in Taurus, she holds. This is not a fleeting transit. It is a deepening, a settling, a gravitational lock. And it has been building towards something specific in your connection. There is a reason this is happening now. There is a reason they keep returning to you. And what's unfolding between you is not confusion. It is convergence. Before we go any further, if this already feels true in your body, like something you have been waiting to hear confirmed, like this video, subscribe, and drop the word comfort in the comments. Not for the algorithm, as a signal. Because what you're about to receive, the energy you're about to align with, moves in both directions. You confirming it here is you sending it back. Venus does not travel equally through every sign. In some placements, she is adaptable, curious, searching. But Taurus is her domicile, the territory she built, the frequency she governs without compromise. When Venus enters Taurus, she is not visiting, she is ruling, and her rule has one absolute. What is real will be felt. What is hollow will be exposed. There is no comfortable ambiguity under this transit, no good enough for now, no almost that doesn't eventually register as insufficient. The nervous system becomes a precision instrument. The body stops tolerating what doesn't register as genuine. You may have noticed something shifting already, not dramatically, not with announcement, but in the way certain interactions that used to feel acceptable began to feel flat. In the way you kept returning, involuntarily, to one specific thought, one specific person, one specific feeling of safety you have not been able to replicate anywhere else. That is not nostalgia. That is Venus in Taurus activating discernment at the cellular level. This is where Venus in Aries and Venus in Taurus diverge completely. Venus in Aries wanted the chase, the electricity of pursuit, the spark of the unknown. Venus in Taurus wants something heavier and more permanent. She wants to rest in someone. She wants presence that doesn't perform, comfort that holds without needing to be convinced, warmth that lives in the body rather than the idea. And if someone in your life has been slowly realizing that excitement without safety is just noise, that almost connection is lonelier than being alone, Venus in Taurus is the force making that truth impossible to ignore. Can you feel the difference between someone who excites you and someone who actually settles your nervous system? Because those are not the same thing. And under this transit, the body finally stops pretending they are. What specifically changes in how they experience you under this transit is what we need to go into. They have been comparing, not consciously, not with intention, but in the way the body compares, a constant background process running beneath every interaction. Does this feel safe? Does this feel like enough? Does this land the way it should? And nothing is landing the way you do. Not in the physical sense, not in the emotional sense. Venus in Taurus activates sensory memory. They are not just remembering how you looked, they are remembering how you felt, the specific quality of your presence, the way time moved differently, the way their nervous system, that precise, involuntary instrument, would settle in a way it doesn't settle anywhere else. You may have sensed this in them even through distance, an energy that doesn't match the words being said or the silence being held, a tension that doesn't feel like indifference. If you have had the sense that they are carrying something they haven't spoken, that there's an internal conflict happening beneath the surface of whatever is being shown to you, you are not projecting. You are perceiving accurately. This is not confusion about you. That is the part you need to hear clearly. They are not confused about what they feel. They are scared of how certain they feel. Certainty this deep, this embodied, this irrevocable. It does not feel like freedom. It feels like weight. and they have been trying in quiet and sometimes visible ways to test whether someone else could carry that weight instead, someone easier, someone that doesn't require this level of surrender. You may have felt it, that hollow echo of almost contact, the sense that they tried a detour and it didn't resolve the way they hoped. The discomfort of almost right is specific. It is not pain, exactly. It is the low persistent dissonance of a frequency the body cannot accept as sufficient. Venus in Taurus amplifies that dissonance until it becomes undeniable. They tested it, compared it, and came back empty. And what is building now is the recognition they have been delaying. To understand why they cannot simply walk away from what you represent, you need to understand the mechanism. Venus in Taurus doesn't just create attraction, she creates templates. When someone feels genuine safety, not performed safety, not convenient safety, but the real embodied kind, the nervous system memorizes it, the frequency of it, the texture, the specific register of being with a person who makes the body exhale rather than brace. That memory does not fade with time or distance. It becomes the standard against which everything else is measured. Why does someone who says they've moved on keep returning to the same name? Not because they are weak, because the template you created in their nervous system is still running. And Venus in Taurus is activating that template now with a force their rational mind is struggling to override. What changes under this transit is not the attraction was already there. What changes is their tolerance for substitutes. It collapses, not slowly, completely. You may have felt an unusual pull toward them recently, not a desperate pull, but a quiet gravitational one like a tide moving on schedule. Not imagining it, receiving it. If you have experienced an unexpected sense of peace at the thought of them, even amid the uncertainty, that is not contradiction. That is two nervous systems recognizing each other across whatever distance or silence currently exists between you. The body keeps energetic score. What you gave them left a mark. What they gave you left a mark. And Venus in her home sign is now illuminating those marks with a permanence that makes dismissal impossible. Here is what that looks like in their behavior right now. They are checking, not always acting, not yet, but watching. The kind of watching that is accumulation rather than inaction, drafting messages they don't send, pausing on a memory, a song, a place that carries your specific frequency, noticing things that remind them of you in the midst of otherwise unrelated moments. If you have seen their name appear in unexpected places recently, a notification, a mention, a face that resembled theirs in a crowd, this is the field responding to convergence. Venus in Taurus makes action slower but intention deeper. The silence you may be experiencing from them is not absence. It is accumulation. It is someone building towards something they are not yet certain they can hold without breaking. Not a pattern, an imprint. And the deepening truth, the one that resolves the question of what block they are fighting, is not lack of desire. That gap is closed. The block is the fear of how permanent this feels, because what is building here does not feel like a chapter that can be closed. It feels like a foundation, and foundations require a different kind of courage than passion does. As April 15th approaches and this transit deepens, the ability to rationalize the pull diminishes. What remains is the truth, and the only real question is whether they are ready to stop being afraid of it. If this is resonating in a way that feels larger than a single video can hold, like this, subscribe, and stay close as this transit builds. There is more in the description for those ready to go deeper. But this is not just about them returning. Let's be clear about what is actually happening here. Venus in Taurus does not restore old versions of things. She upgrades foundations. What they are seeking when they reach toward you is not the relationship you had before. It is the relationship that was always possible beneath what you had. The version that didn't fully arrive, because neither of you was quite prepared to hold it. You are the stable point they are orienting toward, yes. But you are also being changed by this transit. You are deepening too. Your capacity for this kind of love, steady, embodied, non-negotiable, is not a liability you have been carrying. It is the very quality that makes substitution impossible on their end. You may have felt recently that your own longing has shifted, from anxious to something heavier and more certain, from wondering to knowing. If you have sensed a new seriousness in how you hold this connection, not desperation, not fantasy, but a quiet and grounded certainty, that is Venus in Taurus working in you simultaneously. Both people are being upgraded. The question is whether both people are ready to release what must be released for this to land fully. Both people are seeking, reaching, and finding no substitute. Before this can fully arrive, something needs to move through you. The ache you feel is not weakness. The ache you feel is Venus in Taurus making you feel the full weight of what matters to you. That is not suffering. That is confirmation. Your longing is directional information, the body's precision instrument pointing toward what is real and insisting it deserves to exist. The exhaustion you may be carrying from waiting, from almost moments, from loving someone who is mid-process, that exhaustion is not evidence that you were wrong. It is evidence of proximity. You are not far from the threshold. You are right at its edge. If you have felt the emotional toll of holding your heart open while also holding yourself together, of caring deeply for someone while staying grounded in your own worth, that is not contradiction. That is the work. What if the waiting wasn't wasted? What if it was the exact preparation Venus in Taurus required? Because this transit does not reward urgency, it rewards rootedness. And you have been growing roots through everything you thought was just delay. What needs to soften before April 15th peaks? What fear, what residual resentment, what protective contraction is still costing you energy you need for receiving? That is not a prompt to perform release. It is a genuine invitation, because what Venus in Taurus is bringing to the surface between you requires you to be open in a specific way, not naive, not without discernment. Open the way a person who knows their own worth is open, fully, unhurriedly, without the bracing that turns receiving into another form of defense. And now, here is what April 15 is actually bringing to the surface between you. There is a moment under every powerful transit when containment becomes more costly than revelation, when the energy of what is real exceeds the energy of staying protected. April 15th is that moment in this specific story. You may have sensed this building, a change in the quality of the pull, something less like hope and more like inevitability, something that doesn't feel like excitement, something heavier and more permanent. The nervous system doesn't lie under Taurus energy. And what it is confirming is this: what you represent to this person is no longer a want they are weighing against other options. It is a need the body will not negotiate away. They are not trying to forget you. They are trying to deserve coming back. That is the revelation. The silence was never indifference, it was preparation. The distance was never rejection. It was someone trying to become someone worthy of what they found in you. If you have felt recently that something is about to shift, not in a wishful way, but in the way a season shifts, with a kind of atmospheric inevitability, trust that. If something in your body settles at the thought of what is coming rather than tightening, that is your nervous system confirming what your mind has been trying to verify. The what-if ends here. What's building between you is not fragile. It is gravitational. And gravity is not a choice. You can stop bracing now. Whatever you have been holding yourself against, you can release it. Not because the outcome is guaranteed in the form you imagined it, but because the truth is no longer something either of you can unknow. Real safety is rare. They know they found it once, and Venus in her home sign rewards what is real and dissolves what isn't. You are not the person wondering if you're wanted anymore. You are the person who is the answer to someone else's longing. That is not arrogance, that is alignment. Under Venus in Taurus, 3 things are yours to embody now: stability, presence, and the complete non-negotiability of your own worth. You do not chase, you do not shrink, you do not make yourself easier to access than you are worth. Venus in Taurus rewards those who know their own comfort, those who have learned to become for themselves the kind of grounded presence they offer to others. You are not too much. You are exactly the amount someone has been starving for. Comfort this specific does not exist in multiples. The depth of your capacity for love is not a wound. It is the point. Feel it, honor it, stop apologizing for it. When you do, something shifts in how you carry yourself. And people feel that shift before you say a single word. You are not waiting for them to choose you. You are the reason they cannot choose anyone else. That is a fundamentally different place to stand. When was the last time you let yourself be someone's answer instead of their question? Stand there now. Receive from that place. If this reached you, if something in your body recognized what this transit is activating, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and drop April 15 in the comments. Not to feed an algorithm, to seal the date, to mark the moment this message found you, because it was always going to find you exactly now. And then click what's next on the screen. This journey through the transit continues, and everything you encounter from here forward serves your arriving, your deepening,